Okay, to finish my talk about law. Now, if the law doesn't cover transportation in the vehicles that are out, they use gas, oil, propane, kerosene, then what laws do? The law temporarily of travel would cover of such, but it also states that a vehicle from a tractor trailer to a ship to a plane is illegal, as well as a train, because they all got to be powered, or not powered, but they all have to be of certain things. And mainly horses are about the only thing between a horse, a donkey, sheep, goats that are legal. And even then, it goes into the law of abusing animals, which is the law of travel and transportation of a horse. So the question of it is are you traveling or is the horse traveling? The other part of it is someone came down and asked and said, why is there a curse placed on people from 1868 all the way up to the present? And it's mainly because of the fact of certain things in this country. 1, treason. 2, murder. 3, killing. And the other part of it talks about in the paperwork of not handling murderers and killers correctly in the military, soldiers, knights, etc., etc. Not killing them, or not technically not killing them, but not starving them off on an island as quickly. And the letter written back to who wrote this, because it was a letter from a queen, was simple. You are not a part of what is considered authority. And that was by the air to Elizabeth. You are not a part of authority. That means you're not in the sense of being able to make law. The most you could do is counsel the dictator, the leader, because the king, the word king was very sparsely used back then. When I say sparsely, you had to show so much loyalty in the sense of being loyal. And I'm not talking about kissing the butt of the air, or, I'll give you every good thing I have, like Trump tried to do, try to bribe his way into something in 1980. I'll hand over all my property, I'll hand over, certain things to be a king, which is called bribery, as well as slandering the crap out of a title. You're not allowed to do that. That's why Trump got a flat out no. Because Trump was going to hand over his property, his wife, his children, rights to his life, just to sit over, or actually in a palace on a throne, to become a king. The answer was no. It's already been dealt with and it's already been settled. Who will speak for Europe? Because the person wasn't a dictator, wasn't a leader, and didn't have enough education. But Europe needed someone to speak for it while I was absent. I was only good up until the age of 13, unless I decided to stay until the age of 18 inside the UCSA, or the UCTA, which I decided to leave when I was 6 years old, or 4 years old, which Canada gracefully, if it was Canada, messed up. There's a lot of talk of treason and plotting in the 1980s, from 1977 to 1986 to 87 to 89 to 2017. a guy came over and tried to tell the morons that came into the United Nations meeting the president to the Congress, you're not welcome. You do not run the government. And the guy even admitted he doesn't run the government. He doesn't tell them what to do. And he told him the reason. The reason is it's not about money. The person who does all this is very, 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 very rich and does not have to fund any of it. But the fact of the person's very, 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 very good at what he does. And that means with law. Because everyone over there, the last 5 generations, the 6 generations, never wanted to learn law. They just want to learn the pre-basics, be the common person, or the resident or the registrant, and say, screw it. I'm satisfied with just being a normal person underneath the air. But, you see, with a breakout of prisoners from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, Iran, who are actually based from Europe, who were actually punished by Europe and sent to these countries because of a heinous crime and their death that was coming out. But I don't always decide so quickly on the fact of, oh, I'm just going to off this person, electrocute him, and that's good enough. It takes time to find out the truth. It takes time to pressure people to find out the real truth. If you can't find out the real truth, then you put the person on an island, and you let what I call the island satisfy what is and what isn't. And yeah, you starve them. My way of thinking is if someone's innocent enough, they'll get their rear ends off the island. If they know that they never did anything that they were being accused of. A person that is a murderer or killer and just does it, they won't get off the island. They'll try to find a way to survive and end up dying trying to survive. At the same time, Dupla law. Dupla is where someone duplicates himself by the occult. Occults and Satanism. Religion's just a form of, and like I said, you got to exclude any and all letters from the BBL that it was originally written because of certain things. The BBL never existed. It was a form of letters, books, memoirs that were written that weren't supposed to be judged or punished. The U.S. did that, which the law requires. Once a person takes a person that is dead, graven, or in the cemetery, and decides to judge them, who has no right to judge, has no authority to judge, then they get judged by their actions. And the form of punishment by the law. The easiest way to do it is what was, if you read on Google what was written about Judge Smith, who knowingly plotted against someone, but also had a change in thought about what he was doing and kind of got nervous, but still plotted against a person. What was placed on the U.S. a long time ago still exists to this day. Some say different generation, some say not a different generation. A mixed generation of 5 generations. And some lived well beyond 5 generations. The highest goes to 8, but as far as mine goes a hell of a lot farther than that. That's probably why I don't date females. I don't date women. I don't date girls. I don't date quote-unquote ladies. Because they were all done well before this day and age. And the last generation. And the last generation before that. And the last generation before that. But not in a form of marriage, and definitely not in a form of wedding. So if the Air King Knight says marriage and wedding is illegal, it's a form of entrapping someone by document, which there is a document that must be signed, but it's not a form of entrapping someone. But at the same time, any and all laws of what is women's rights, and they want equal rights all the way through the government, is a form of entrapping the government. And it's a form of entrapping the country. It's a form of entrapping people, whether male or female. And I won't say male or female, I'll say male or a girl. Because a female, if you take the word FE, space it, and then put a hash, not a hash, but a line, and then it reads male. A female is actually a cross-dresser, a guy who is born with female parts. So when you say it, you can't say it, Lady Gaga. It's already been written. So a female is a dude who has both a vagina and a penis. A woman is what it becomes when it's older. Now, if you have more than one of yourself, either by choice or not choice, then it's one men and one man. A one man is a guy who has a vagina and a penis that's never been separated. Not equal in government. The laws are never equal to the people. They read about what you can and cannot do. A curse is one of the things that an Air King Knight has a choice of, but with very certain stipulations. Stick every murderer and killer inside the United States, as they refer to it, pull out all military that's innocent, and curse them. That's legal. But not legal for common people, not legal for registries, and definitely not legal for a resident or a citizen or a common person. It's illegal. The funny thing to this day is people look in the mirror and say, why am I so damn ugly? Why don't I feel good? Why do I have cancer? Why do I have a mass growing? Why do I have mass all over my body in different areas? These are forms of punishment. Mainly because you did it to yourself. That's how a curse works. A curse cannot be forced upon a person. It is simply set against a person. If you're wrong, it'll never happen. If you're right and you force a person to commit an act or a crime, it goes against the person who said it in the beginning, against another person. So when you see someone being silent, don't hate them. They're doing you a big favor, especially if you curse them. I ain't talking about swear words. Because as long as they keep their mouth shut, they're abiding by law. Which, all the talkative people, social bar people, you also need to take and learn a lesson. To shut up. Watch what you say. Being a Wicca, being of a cult, being of magic, spells, knowing them, practicing them, worshiping them, will be your damnation, is what it refers to as law. In law, sorry, not as law, of law, or any of that, but what will happen to them by law. So, let me put it this way. A protection spell seems like a very good idea for a person to only use against a single person of themselves, right? Correct? No. Go into the grave and can't talk. Go into the grave and you can only think. That spell never comes off. It doesn't wear off until I walk by and say, "Well, dumbass, look at what you did to yourself. Yeah, I'm going to sit here and talk to you." And I do a lot of that. Get yelled at by Jersey Shore Cemetery for lingering around the graves. It's my job to do that. To find out who the idiots are that screwed themselves. Just like I told the Jersey Shore Cemetery employee, you have a guy that's ready to come up in a few days, or a few weeks, or a few months. So you might want to lessen the dirt on the grave. And he just kind of laughed until I walked back in and told him, you just got murdered. You left the guy in the grave too long. He even pointed out the grave. That's murder against an employee at a graveyard. By killing. Whether by accident, incident, or on purpose. So the guy decides to do one thing next. He decides to uproot and take the guy out of the grave and try to resuscitate a dead guy. No, it doesn't work like that. It's eyes off to the living. You might as well just place him right where his grave is, on top of dirt, and let it sit there and fall asleep in the graveyard. And I say fall asleep, and see if he comes back, which means you need to undo the sealing of the grave, or the coffin, or you're going to kill him again. The guy did eventually come back. It takes a while. That's why they used to call halfway houses ugly people places. And that is ignorant to say, but it is truthful. Try to keep your mouth shut. Anyway, that's what I'm going to say for now. I might do another one.